Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dr. J Tech.
Double Day gives you a whole new tech.
This is Jacqueline.
This is Jeffrey.
Remember last week we were talking about the shortage of the semiconductor industry and how it happened. Today, we are focusing on the same topic, but a little more in depth.
First, let's estimate how long these excess orders will take to digest.
Let me think about it.
Before the outbreak of the COVID-19 epidemic in 2020, it was assumed that under normal economy conditions, our company will use 100 integrated circuits every month and stock them for 2 months, which means that 200 are piled up in the warehouse and 100 orders are placed every month.
It is enough to assume that the foundry's capacity utilization rate is around 80% at this time. Later, because of the epidemic, the stock of the preparation materials was increased to 6 months, which means that I have to place an order for the original 100 pieces this month.
Yes, because the stock of preparation materials has increased by 4 months, I have to place an order for 400 more pieces, and the extra 400 pieces can only be supported by the remaining 20% of the foundry's production capacity.
80% of the production capacity can only make 100 pieces per month, and 20% of the production capacity can only take 25 pieces per month. So 400 pieces will be made for 16 months, and it will take about 4 months to digest the stock of preparation for each additional month.
The figures below are estimated very roughly, meaning to let everyone feel why the increase in customer orders will cause the supply of foundries to be in short supply, and the out of stock is calculated by seasons or years.
Originally, foundries were still on the sidelines and unwilling to expand production. As a result, orders were scheduled for next year and the year after. In the end, they couldn't stop the pressure from customers. Finally, they decided to invest in new factories.
Among them, 19 new wafer foundries will build in 2021 and 10 new wafer foundries will be built in 2022. 22 of them are 12-inch foundries with a total monthly production capacity of 2.6 million 8-inch wafers. Approximately equivalent one 12-inch wafer is equal to 2 8-inch wafers calculated.
How will the foundries ensure the customers make orders on the products? Because think about it. What if the customer cancel on the orders after the wafer foundries were built?
Preparing a deposit to sign a long-term contract is ostensibly a good way, but in fact, it has limited effect.
Since the current delivery time for the electronic factory to place an order is still more than half a year or even 1 year, the electronic factory is frightened into cold sweat when it hears that the delivery time is so long. So, how can it be solved?
Of course, it is to place more orders. Wafer foundries do understand the truth. Therefore, they use the strategy of price increases to scare off those excess orders.
That makes a lot of sense.
Wafer foundries have repeatedly increased their prices by a cumulative increase of as much as 30 to 100%.
Among them, TSMC announced an increase of 8 to 20% at the end of 2021, and even asked customers to prepay a deposit to ensure production capacity.
Unexpectedly, most electronics factories were scared by the shortage crisis and still placed orders briefly.
Therefore, wafer foundries have to start asking customers to place irrevocable orders and even prepay a 30% or a 50% deposit.
Some wafer foundries even use 2 or 3 years of long-term contracts to tie orders, lock prices, and determine demand before expanding the factory.
Many people see that customers are willing to prepay such a high deposit and sign a long-term contract. It seems that this business is confirmed. In fact, prepaying a deposit to sign a long-term contract is a good method on their surface, but in fact, the effect is limited.
Everyone knows that all commercial contracts can be changed now that there is a shortage of materials. In order to grab production capacity, customers can agree to any conditions.
Yeah. If there is no shortage in the future, they will come back and renegotiate with the suppliers to modify the contract. There are countless examples in the past, and suppliers usually agree in order to avoid offending large customers.
Exactly. It can be expected that this super perfect out of stock storm will not hurt significant customers in the future, but not necessarily for small customers.
Yeah. And the other thing that we want to let everyone know is that the false glory under the epidemic, just waiting for a breach to appear, maybe an avalanche collapse.
The first thing that stamped factories in various countries around the world profit from is planting, construction, building materials, and then semiconductor equipment.
The semiconductor equipment itself requires a lot of integrated circuits, and the integrated circuits are out of stock. From here, it can be seen that the semiconductor shortage itself is an infinitive loop.
So to even connect what we are going to mention, these vicious cycles create the illusion of ultra-high demand, and just waiting to a breach to appear, it may be an avalanche collapse.
It is certain that after 29 wafer foundries will be mass produced one after another by the end of 2023, the production capacity will definitely oversupply.
As for whether this out-of-stock storm will end earlier, will the avalanche collapse of the semiconductor market happen earlier? It is also necessary to observe when the epidemic will be unblocked and the shipping congestions will ease.
When electronic factories find that they do not have to pile up another year spare inventory, they will start to stop placing orders. And integrated circuits design companies will start to drop orders and turn back to cut the orders from foundries.
And when everyone does this at the same time, wafer foundries will start to cut prices.
Yes, if the price reduction is still happening, it is necessary to go back and reconsider whether the wafer foundries that are already being built should be stopped, or the factory will not import the equipment after it is built, and the equipment is no longer needed.
Since the equipment is no longer needed, the integrated circuit do not need so much. The vicious cycle will create the illusion of ultra-high demand, and it will also bring down this illusion.
Another question that's often being asked by netizens is that will TSMC be injured if the semiconductor industry does reverse?
Since TSMC's advanced process technology currently leads the world with almost no competitors, and the advanced process account for about 50% revenue, coupled with Intel's order blazing in the future, this part will grow again.
Yes, but TSMC also has 50% revenue from the mature process. Overall, the amount that increase compensate for the decreases have little impact on TSMC, which is considered competitive.
This year, many netizens asked me about the future prospects of some companies. I found that many of them are companies that have lost money in the past 10 years. In the past 2 years, due to the vicious cycle of semiconductor out of stock, their profits have soared and their stock prices have skyrocketed.
That's totally an unexpected change.
When this illusion of demand collapses, will it be set back to its original revenue? It really depends on the competitiveness of these companies.
Well said, Dr. Jeff. I wish we had more time to discuss on this topic.
Don't worry, make sure everyone tune in the same time next week again.
Right, we'll bring back more information to everyone. This is Jacqueline.
And this is Jeffrey.
We'll see everyone soon. Bye.
Goodbye.